man don't know shit.
Great to see ya. How you doing?
Okay, man.
Been a while.
Nice to be here.
I haven't seen you since
Corona.
December 29th.
Corona Theater.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a good show.
The Clash tribute.
Yeah,
London Calling.
That was one of my favorite shows I've probably ever done. It's kind of hard to say it just like that, but
yeah.
that was. I was smiling because it actually really was that one of those bucket list things.
Absolutely. I mean, it was the Montreal Calling event put on by Billy Bob Productions, who is Mitch Melnick, yes, and his partner Shane, who is awesome. Who I gotta have Shane on this show. That's one of my things I'd love.
You should. Mitch put together a great evening that night, but also Shane was like a monster as far as taking care of the bands and then performing the way he did.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was such an epic night.
Huge shout out to Shane and to Melnick for that.
Yeah, man. You know what I like about that? I don't know about you, but if somebody asked me, okay, who's your biggest musical influence? It's pretty freaking obvious. Thanks to Danny Rebel for painting my idol, Mr. Joe Strummer.
Yeah.
You know, and there was, 17 bands in one production one night? I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And it went off like without a hitch.
Yeah, it was crazy. Every band did between 2 and 4 songs or something like that?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like bang, one after the other with a little break in the middle. It's fantastic. Your set, by the way, with the Mahones was one of the highlights, eh? And your version of Teenage Kicks, I loved it.
Well, that's kind of a staple in our encores for the last couple of years because we love that song. But yeah,
who did that song again?
That's the Undertones from Belfast.
Right. Fantastic classic.
Yeah.
You've been playing in the Mahones now for how many years about? Like, I know it's been quite a while.
10.
10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I took some time off in the middle there a little bit to do Irish Nails. But yeah, me and Finny have been buddies since the 90s. Actually, when I was in high school, I got a cassette tape made, and it was the first Mahones album, and on the other side was Sailing the Seas of Cheese by Primus.
Yeah, is that like because you recorded onto it?
Well, a buddy gave it to me.
Right.
Back in the day, where it was like scribbled on the little piece of paper on the top of the cassette.
Yeah, I love cassette
so
days.
One side was Dragging the Days, other side was Primus Sailing the Seas of Cheese. I didn't know either band, and I loved it. And I didn't even know about Irish punk at all.
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about today, because I've known you, like I was saying this on the last episode, I always tend to say, and I guess just naturally, I was like, I've known you since quite a fucking while, back in our Fatal days in Montreal.
Well, I met you in Fatal.
With Timmy D.
Timmy D, Paddy Wagon.
Yeah, man.
Jer, and who's...
Jar Jar. Danny.
Yeah, who's playing for the Hippophonics now.
That's right, with Colin and David Don't and the whole gang.
Yeah, and Dan's doing some cool paintings as well these days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he painted.
Yeah. Well, he got his real estate license. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan, we're talking about you, brother.
But, and that was my old band, Omission.
That's right.
I played with my brother. And my brother actually started playing with the Mahones before I did.
Oh, really?
And then he played with the Peelers way back
then.
That
I knew, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of met all these guys. And then the Mahones would play Hurley's all the time.
Okay.
And I was going as a fan because I loved the music. And then me and Finny would have a beer or 16 after the show. Got to be buddies. And then eventually what happened is like Finny's like, well, hey man, because I had this big loft. We call it Hotel Hell because it was just
hell of a hotel.
One of those.
Right.
And so then we went from being buddies to him crashing my place when he'd come to Montreal. And then I would go to Toronto for shows or whatever, and then crash at his place. We became good buddies. And then sort of, kind of out of nowhere, actually, he was like, "Hey man, I got this tour. I need a mandolin player, but we're gonna do Europe." I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Wait, you played mandolin?
No. No.
Nice.
So I learned for 2 days, and then he got back to me a couple of days after he initially asked me. So actually, I need a bass player. I was like, "Sweet."
Right.
Not that I know how to play bass at the time. So
that's right, because you were a guitar player and singer.
Always a frontman, singer, guitar player guy. So for me to go to that situation playing bass is a little easier. And it probably took me like a bunch of years to be able to feel comfortable playing bass. And now I know how to play fifths. Doom.
Good work, man. Moving up down.
Well, like even now, I've been doing it professionally. I get to play all over the world all the time doing the thing. But even now, I still will sit back and hit YouTube beginner shit.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I'll like if I have a night off or something or I'm at home, I'll YouTube like country beginner bass because I might find something that I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's like a dun, 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 and there's like oh shit, I didn't know about that. So then
what you're saying right now though is one of the things I really always respected about you is that you remind me of me in one way. Is that like I'm always trying to learn a little something. I know so many people that like once they have their bag, okay, they got their bag and they don't seem to expand it much. Yeah, they're writing songs and stuff, but like always trying to learn a new little piece. I mean, I remember the days of Omission because we did shows back then, and we're talking about what, 1990?
Trip the Off, bro.
Yeah, Trip the Off,
Police
Paddy
the
Wagon.
Cops.
That's right, Police the Cops. Man, that's going back to.
I still had that work jersey.
Do you really?
The blue one with the.
I don't even have one of those.
I should have brought it. Yeah.
It's funny, people have been telling me lately, oh, I have this. I'm like, I don't have shit. I'm not the type of guy that keeps.
Well, that's what
everything
happens
around.
if you're doing it forever and ever. There's always going to be something from back, like, oh yeah, I remember that, but someone else will remind you, and but it's nice because you put the work in and you never quit and you just keep producing. But if you produce, you're always going to have something that's going to be there. You can't always bring the same things always forward, but like. So you leave something in your wake, and then someone will remind you
Absolutely.
that is there.
I mean, it's an interesting era right now, I find, for musicians, because you just mentioned it, like, going on YouTube or Google or whatever it is, like, being able, like, to have such, you have such access right now to being able to learn new stuff. It's like, even with this show, I was just talking to you before we started as, like, man, the first episode, I had no idea even how to, plug the camera into the computer and, put it on YouTube and stuff like that. But you just learn as you go, right? And here you are. I knew you as a singer, guitar player, playing in punk rock bands, straight up. And what I wanted to know really is, like, okay, here you are. You've been playing bass in the Mahones for about 10 years, traveled the freaking world, and fucking aid to that, man, because like you know me, I'm all about the touring musicians,
Yeah.
And
we got that under our belt.
yeah, but then you switch to bass, which is a whole different thing. But not only switching to bass from punk rock songs. I mean, I understand the Mahones are considered like Irish punk, I guess. Okay, but in Irish music, okay, are like chord patterns are very different from a lot of punk songs, I imagine. Like when people talk to me about jigs and stuff, I don't know what musically.
Yeah.
I've never touched that.
Yeah. I kind of got an idea about it. Luckily, Finney's been nice enough to me over the years where I've learned some things, but he'll still let me do the Dee Ramone approach.
Yeah.
So I kind of get away with stuff, even though I can know stuff. So there's things that I do know now that I don't have to do because I still want to be comfortable and do the straight up. But I'll still try and do the fifths and still do the bop arounds. But it also depends on the song. Like I'll DJ my bass the way Finney will DJ his singing.
Right.
Or his guitar tones.
Yeah.
Like where it's like traditional Dirty Old Town cover, say, or a straight up punk rock Mahones song where it's like, and then or boom, like. So,
I like it. Only musicians can talk in this manner. Okay, so now I'm going boom chaka chaka, and you're going boom boom peep boom boom on the fifth. I love it, man. This is musician talk right here, 101.
Well, even with our band, like the Mahones, will even like Finney will write a set list, and hey Finney,
Finney, how you doing, brother?
I always just consider it a suggestion,
right?
Because like we always have our intro, like bang, and then like 4 songs in, crowd's going doing the thing, and then depending on the crowd, if it's insane for let's say like the first 5, 6, he'll bring it down a little bit. So the set list, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like the way a DJ would play songs.
Yeah.
Like he'll just feel everybody, bring them down a little bit, play the real slow, and then the song after the slowest song will be the fastest song. Or so, and
I just had a talk.
And just keep everyone, engaged and moving.
Yeah.
And it's kind of.
Like Frankie, that. Right? My bass player, my brother Frankie, right?
Frankie's
and of course you do. And we hang out till the wee hours in the morning sometimes.
Bass players have to stick together.
Yeah, there you go. One thing, what you just said, had a great talk with him about it. I said the good bands and the ones that separate from the crowd, okay, are the bands that are confident enough to put the set list aside and be able to feel a crowd. That's something that we do a lot. It's like, okay, right now we have to go here in the set and just bounce around, and it's not like the band's not uncomfortable to do it or anything,
Yeah.
But I always found my favorite bands in the world are able to feel a crowd and play with the crowd. You know, I mean, depending on their energy,
Yeah.
you're going. You know, it's like you're playing with the crowd together. You're all involved in this same show.
Yeah.
And to hear you tell me that, I find that it's really well, it's a great thing. But when I saw you at Montreal Calling, I love the dynamic of just what you just described, bringing in the punk rock bass to the Irish music, and it really worked, man. It really did. You and Feeney together, man. That's a good combo.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, playing with Finney, he's a great lead guy, and he can take a room by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the great frontmen, and saying that you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you opened for Irish Nails. Remember that little cafe on Saint Denis in Montreal?
Oh yeah, right above the strip bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
I remember. I was like, would you mind just doing like a set by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't just come and do like. Yeah, I'm playing some songs.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You actually you played like there was a 7-piece ska band behind you. You sang, you stomped, you you did the whole thing, and like people like Finney or Renee from the Brains, like there's certain guys like that can completely own that.
Well,
and I really love that idea.
Don't you think that some musicians, and probably some of the ones that you love most, just being like, I know the type of music, well, I mean, you like a lot of types of music, but some of the music that you love, just mentioning like Didi Ramone, it's the musicians that, music is coming from their instrument to the amp, through a PA, and to the people, but it's also, you can tell the ones where it's flowing through the whole body. Like, for instance, somebody asked me, why is it you move so much on stage? I didn't actually notice how much I do, but it's because that's how I'm keeping time. That's how I'm keeping rhythm. Like, music's going through the whole body, and I saw that in you at that show.
Yeah.
It was really
like
cool.
When not having to sing in this band, just locking down, I find a certain posture where, like, my legs go a little bit this way, and my guitar gets low, and I just, like, and you just... And I'm not thinking about playing. I'm just going, this is the most comfortable place I could be, and it feels good, and I think it probably, like, exuberates to the rest of everyone that's there. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry, we can invent words, use them wrong in this show, because this really came and don't know shit, and my grasp of grammar and, I was going to say the English language, but we could throw the French language in there, all that, we use it how we want. That's one of the beauties of things in expressing yourself. But man, I was really blown away at that show. I was, me and Frankie and a couple of the other guys in the band, Matt, our sax player, was with us at that moment. We went right up to the front of the stage. Well, I know because we stole your beer when you were playing. But I saw there was more on the side.
Oh, yeah.
But
there's always more.
Yeah, but it was the first time I was up close to you guys playing like that, and I was really blown away. It was great, man.
That was actually the first show that our new drummer actually played too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Angus Fay.
Yeah, I met him at that show. He's a really great guy.
Really good. He's actually going to school, like in Kingston. Like he's a music student.
Okay, yeah.
He's also a Fay, so he's Canadian royalty there. Johnny Fay's his uncle from
from the Tragically Hip. Yeah, man. Shout out to
also,
Johnny Fay.
So we're going to be taking Angus to Europe for the first time for him.
Really? You guys are going back to Europe?
Yeah, we're taking off next weekend.
Wicked.
So we got.
Where are we going?
This is going to be the longest one probably ever.
Oh shit.
We're doing 2 months, and then a month.
Just in Europe?
Yeah, 2 months in Europe, and then we're flying straight to Australia for another month, and then we're already booked in Vancouver for May.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I like hearing that.
Yeah. So we're doing 40-something shows in Europe, and the cool part is being Canadian, coming from where we're at right now. There's a lot of Spain, a lot of Italy.
Nice.
First time in Croatia.
You're going to Croatia?
Yeah. So we're doing the whole top of the Mediterranean. So our last tour.
Do you know anything about Croatia?
I know it's in between Greece and Turkey.
See, already you know more than me.
Which is pretty much like people just when you think of Croatia, you just think of Eastern Bloc problems and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But Greece is gorgeous. Turkey's gorgeous, and right in the middle you got Croatia. So
amazing.
So yeah, I'll have some days off.
2 months. See, and already we know that in Europe, one of the great things for bands is you don't have to travel that far between shows. It's not like Canada,
Yeah.
So
well, the same if you do it right.
Yeah.
But this tour, like I looked at the list, literally there's some stretches where it's like 13, 14 days without a break.
Nice.
Just
balls to the wall, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because like you think you get older and you want to fuck that.
Yeah, man. I feel it. You know, there's something, you know, they say like as you age in a lot of ways. I don't know about you, but like my cardio, my being able to play long sets is way better even than when I was young. I don't know if I just manage it better, or if I'm building myself up stronger with age or whatever, or the way I'm playing, but it's a real thing.
I think there's maybe like an anxiety level that gets lower the more comfortable you are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
like where you can just lock into what you're doing, get to enjoy it, and then the time just goes away. Like, that would be talking about like the later part of long sets, but like the other way to talk about it too is like, say you're sick or hungover or exhausted or whatever. You get in there, you're loving it. 30 seconds into the first song, someone could have shot you in the back of the leg. You could have a noose around your neck. You could be hungover as shit. You won't feel anything.
Yeah.
You just play because you love it, and then you just look out and everyone's having a great time, and then you just like, and then maybe you will crash and burn at the hotel. You know, and then can we get a late checkout?
Yeah, every time, man.
But then by the time you get back to the next show, it doesn't matter. Like,
that fatigue just goes out the window as soon as you get it.
Yeah, I used to go on heavy steroids for my arthritis and stuff, and then I just said I can't do that anymore because it's making me sick. So now it's just a lot of CBD in my life, maybe some Advils, shot of whiskey, boom, show.
Does it help?
Oh yeah.
CBD, when you say CBD, what are you talking about? Are you talking like oil drops?
Oil.
Okay, under the tongue type thing.
Yep.
Really? Eh?
Like just the whole you know, the bottle's that big. The whole I just put them on my tongue. The trick is to hold it in without swallowing, let it sort of absorb, and then because there's no THC in the stuff that I take.
Yeah. And
you just feel this whole.
Really? Eh?
And it's as healthy as you can get, and fuck Big Pharma.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm so happy that, like, I find, I'm not going to say the world because, you know, there's a big difference between certain countries and stuff like that. But I mean, definitely, like, I feel like there's this whole push that people are way more open to CBD, marijuana, and stuff than ever. You know, and it's kind of beautiful to see because
the information is finally there.
Right.
Everyone's finally got it. Like, it's been suppressed for different reasons. The whole hemp idea, like, hemp versus paper, like, the whole bit.
I wish that would move forward a bit more.
Well, it will. I think the whole thing is just, it's an evolution of information and people knowing, and then people doing something about it.
Yeah.
And saying, like, I don't, you know, it's like the whole oil industry, I suppose. It's like, they want it to be that way. They lobby it to be that way. Doesn't mean it has to be that way. But they're doing it for the dollars, and eventually people are going to start going.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you have any industry that's, you know, good or bad, I mean, a system is put in place, right? And there's a lot of people that are living off that system.
Yeah, but then people wake up, and then it just takes a long time, or it takes the right amount of things to have someone say, "Wait a second, hold on." It's like having a really bad girlfriend. You know, eventually you're just like, "Wait a second, I don't care that you're pretty, I don't care about this, but you're fucking my life up." Eventually, you just got to step aside and go, "This is gonna hurt, but I gotta go." Or it's like having a bad tooth or anything. Sometimes you just gotta pull the Band-Aid off and.
What a great subject that is! You just opened up the musician subject. It's like you're about to spend 2 months on the road. You know, 3 months on the road. Damn, this boy doesn't stop, and you know you're probably gonna book a few more before that one's over. But my point is that relationships, you know, you always hear like women, don't go with the musician and stuff, because obviously for a lot of ladies, a relationship with the musician is not what they're looking for once they're in it, because there's certain sacrifices as well as certain gains as well.
Yeah.
But you have to have a
Can't
special
blame them
woman.
in some way.
No, absolutely. You have to have the right connection. I'm sure I'm so blessed with my lady who not only tolerates my musical life but supports it, and I know your lady very well as well. I mean,
well, the best part is I met her on tour.
Right, so knew who you were from the get-go.
Yeah, so if she ever has a problem, I'm like, "Well, babe,
yeah.
You know, sure." But she never does that. Yeah.
But it's been like.
Also, she comes on tour.
Is she coming with you guys for the 2 months?
Not this one. She's going to be meeting us in Australia.
Okay.
And then when we do the West Coast Canada in May, she'll be with us the whole time.
Well, she's a rocker because you know, to travel around with a bunch of stinky musicians there.
Yeah, well, basically she takes care of me, so everyone in the band's like, wait a second. So Sean gets better when she's here. Okay, bring her.
Right.
And also, she really does help a lot. She's one of those organized people that really, really helps. And she's a breath of fresh air to any room at any time.
Absolutely,
As
absolutely.
You know,
well, cheers to the ladies.
Absolutely.
No, that's great. When you guys go to Europe, do you bring like instruments with you? Do you pick up a backline over there? How's that work for you?
Well, not to brag, but we got a Gibson sponsorship.
Nice.
Right? So all our guitars are taken care of.
Okay.
So when we show up in Amsterdam, which has always been our home base, we get to go to the Amsterdam Gibson office and just
talk about fun time.
and just go, we want that one, we want that one, and then they just give it to us, and then we just take them on the entire. So when we fly, we pretty much fly from Montreal or Toronto to Amsterdam with just our personal stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So,
well, that makes such a big difference, though, right?
Yeah. So I'll bring like my couple pedals. I'll bring a few chords, my wireless, but the whole back line is supplying by Roland. Okay. And Roland does all the pedals for us, for Finney especially. And then Gibson just does all our guitars.
And so you pick up your stuff and you hit the road.
And we have all the other backline drums, etc., etc. Yeah, all in Europe.
Oh, really? No, that's fantastic.
When we travel, I mean, you don't need work visas for Europe. You need it for the UK.
Yeah.
I think it's just UK.
And USA, obviously.
Yeah. The States is a whole fucking other topic.
Exactly. I love the people. The red tape.
Yeah, I mean, the Mahones are one of those bands I really appreciate because we'll either do it or we won't do it. We'll never try and go over borders or... Yeah. Everything's always above board.
Well, I mean, we're not in the 60s and 70s and even 80s anymore. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's like that. You have no choice. Yeah. I mean,
it's either you do it or you don't.
Yeah, we both have, you know, there was that transition, like, I don't know if it was pre 9/11 or post 9/11, but I think even leading up to 9/11 was already getting tighter, you know.
Yeah, but after, definitely. Yeah. And I think Trump's made it even worse.
I think you're right about that. I absolutely do. It always baffles me, you know, like, I always thought that it should be really equal. Like, whatever Canadian bands have to do to get into the States, I would think the American bands should have to do the same thing to come to Canada, you know? But that would suck for them because them coming to Canada is how I think it should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I'm kind of torn.
For us, there's no competition. But I think the actual, the dicks in the offices on either side of the border that are responsible for this actually have a competition between themselves. Because, like, when America gets harder, Canada gets harder. Right. So the American bands have the same problem.
I'm not sure what it takes for an American band to play in Canada.
It's relatively, like, very close to the same. Okay. And we were touring in the States, and we were going to have a band called Continental. It's Rick Barton, who was the original guitar player from Chocolate Murphys.
Oh, okay. I was trying to place the name, And I was thinking of Dave Barton from The Peelers.
Yeah, Rick Barton was the original guitar player for DKM.
Okay.
Anyways, this is years ago. Sorry, years ago. And so they tried to sneak in. Red flag the whole bit. Can't come in for 5 years. The whole bit.
And that happened to a few of our friends from Montreal with the U.S. I don't want to mention names or anything like that. But again, that was back in the day. I think while it was transitioning, because they're, you know, back in the day there was this thing that, you know, bands could go into, you know, record in studio and then kind of play some shows at the same time and stuff like that. But
I would risk that if I was like solo. If I was just doing it on my own. You know, I would. But then again, as far as a full band, I appreciate the fact that Mahones will say yes. Yeah. If that all can work, but we're not fucking around. You know, if it's not going to go that way, completely above board, where no one's got to look over their shoulder or make up lies or fucking because they go to you anyways.
Well, that's so we just won't. You have to be straight up.
We won't do it unless we can do that. So, but apparently we got some new hookup in the States, so we'll be able to.
Cool.
Not hook up as far as that goes, but booking.
Yeah.
To make it worthwhile, to keep it above board and be able to sustain the tour.
I like it. A lot of my friends right now seem to be doing that right now because for us too, we just got our USA hookup all together, and we're about to the year of the USA for us coming up starting next month. And I've never played in the US.
Really?
Yeah, like I've toured my ass off, but we never bothered with US just because it seemed so complicated. But now, you know, it's all above board, all taken care of. Thanks to Matt at Stomp for saving my ass.
McGee?
No, that was more Matt's work on that one.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love them both. I like the whole crew, actually.
I remember a couple of years ago I was at an airport, was it Toronto? And we were heading over to Europe because the Smashers were doing the same festival we did in Prague. And I looked back and McGee was like in the plane seat behind me. Yeah.
Small world, eh?
Yeah.
Well, especially when it comes to touring bands, it's like, you know, I first time I don't remember seeing you, but I remember seeing Finney and Katie actually. It was at the Native Trading Center off the highway, off the 401. No, off the 40. I mean the Trans Canada. It changes names.
The only road.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's the only road in Canada. So we always pass all our touring friends. I'm always on the lookout for like touring vans. Yeah. You know, and it's so funny. Like there's one road,
especially in Canada.
Country.
One thing I love though is because we tour Europe a lot more than we tour anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that about you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean, I've always said I'd rather be big in Italy than Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Not to knock Winnipeg, I'm just saying.
I love my Winnipeg people, but I gotta tell you, it's a bit thin, some of those shows.
Well, it's not even, like, I love every single thing about it, but when you're on the Mediterranean, you're just like, oh shit, we're getting paid to do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the crowds over there are like, we'll do clubs all over Canada and have a really great time and be treated really well and enjoy every second, but we'll do sort of the same style of a tour, and like we played, this is maybe a year and a half ago. Okay, I'm going to say something stupid, and don't quote me on this, but we played this show in Milan. So in Milano, they had this big downtown in the city center, this big stage where it's a cultural center, and they had this thing where between May something and September something, every single night, there's an act, a theatrical act, music, play, whatever.
Yeah.
And for some reason I know why we were. So we were asked to play, and we showed up, and there was no other bands, no other acts. It was just us. Huge festival stage, like 7,000 people.
And you're the event of the night.
And we were the only band. 7,000 people showed up.
But they really know how to set stuff up in Europe, eh?
And they were singing along to our songs. And
amazing.
At one point, because we started before the sun came down, so I remember wearing shades. I would never wear shades if it's dark, because I don't do that. But I remember starting the show wearing sunglasses. And it was so great. There's one of our songs, maybe 6 songs into the set, where it's like a slow breakdown. And everyone was singing along, and a tear came out of my eye. Because I was just standing there, you know, looking at the band, this giant thing in the middle of Italy, and everyone's singing. I was like, oh my god!
Absolutely,
it's like watching your kid be born. Like, oh my god! Like,
but I mean, it makes sense.
And I was like, there's no crying in baseball, but you know what I mean. Like,
but I understand why
that happens over there a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, look at all our musician friends. Okay, we all started at a certain age in a bedroom or with a couple of friends, you know, and using lampshades as microphone stands. See, I haven't grown up at all.
Great.
Yeah, man, that's a good one. I've had worse, that's for sure. But we start out doing that, dreaming of one day doing that type of thing. And here you are. You just kind of wake up in the middle of a set and you're playing, and it just kind of hits you, you know. And it's fantastic. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, it's a pinch yourself moment all the time for me. Like we're not millionaires, but we're like doing just fine.
Yeah. And
we get to do pretty much whatever we want. Like we're gonna do our new album in July or August in Berlin.
Really?
Because why not?
Right.
So we've got it all booked. We might do some night shows, but we have like a couple weeks, and we're just gonna hunker down.
What studio are you going to?
I don't know the name of the studio.
Okay.
But we're like, well, if Bowie and U2 can record there, why not?
Right.
Well, our last album we did in Belfast. We did 20 songs in 24 hours.
That's it, man. You just kicked my ass.
Yeah.
I was so proud to say that we did our entire album in one session. Well, the drums.
Well, we didn't do the entire album like that.
Yeah.
But we knocked off that. Yeah. There's actually our friend Buck Defect. Showed it to Buck.
Yeah, man.
There's a band called The Defects. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No, I don't.
Old school punk band started I believe late 70s, like 78, 79.
Okay.
And they're still kicking.
Right on.
And they're kicking ass. And Buck's got this home with his wife, just outside of Belfast, like down the street from Van Morrison's mansion.
Wow.
And he's got an outbuilding with a giant studio, and then like another room with like all this mixing, like, you know. So we would just go there and just stay there for days.
You have all the songs ready and written and good to go?
Well, I think a lot of it is always in Finney's head.
Okay.
So what he does is he points and shoots,
Yeah.
and then everyone lays down the bass stuff. So that what happened for that record, got everything laid down, the Love, Death, and Redemption record, and then he went back to Toronto and tweaked it out for himself. But
which is a great way to do it.
I remember being up in we're up in Belfast. We had a couple shows with the Defects and blah blah blah, and Vinny goes, so how many bands have played a lot of songs here? Like, what's the record? And I think he said something like 20.
Right. Well, that's an easy one to get.
And he goes, no. Right. So we actually, not like because we're dicks or anything, we really wanted to do it. And it was like a little source of fun.
Well, and inspiration. I mean, you got to do cool shit, you know, to stay on edge, to keep.
But I mean, like, because like if you listen to the albums, like there's a lot of like melodic, really really nice, thought out songs, which is awesome. But never forget that the root is still fucking punk rock.
Yeah, man.
There's always that drive, that thing, and it's like you might blah 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 drinking, blah 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 love, but there's still like that thing where it's like that solid in the middle, like Ramones, Motorhead sort of just drive, and then you get to sparkle the stuff around. So I really like that about this kind of music.
Have you spent a lot of time in Berlin before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you've played there before a lot of
I
times.
got this tattoo there.
What's that?
It's a really painful. It took hours and hours.
Stick and poke?
It's a tiny little heart with like 2 hammers. So the crest of Berlin is a heart with 2 hammers, but it's really detailed. Like, it's like you could have a whole mural of it.
Yeah.
So I just got the destructed version that cost me €30 and 6 minutes.
Have your life gone.
So I don't know how I made it through.
That's it.
But yeah, absolutely, Berlin's gorgeous.
In Europe, what are some of your favorite places to play?
That's so hard, but because like literally,
or countries to visit.
These days, one of my favorite things is to be able to look at the map of Europe and know it better than Canada.
Right.
Like, okay, if you look at Ontario, for example, Ottawa, Kingston, Toronto, London, Windsor, Hamilton, Niagara Falls, and then you try and fill in the blanks, and I can do that with Europe now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we have so many friends and so many places to be. It's hard to say, but Italy's pretty great. Spain's pretty great. Portugal's gorgeous.
Yes.
But then you can go all the way out.
I wrote almost a whole album in Portugal. I love Portugal.
No.
Yeah, man. Especially on the southern tip down the Algarve. Have you been down there?
We've played a bunch of shows, and I don't remember the names.
Yeah. There's on the Algarve. What's really cool. Okay, it's the southern tip of Portugal, and Spain's right beside. But if you go to the western south corner of Portugal, we're talking 60-foot cliffs, just straight cut down.
Yeah.
They thought that was the end of the world. That's where it ended, right? And we went out there. There was like a lighthouse, nothing around. There's no buildings or even towns or anything, no people or anything. Okay, so there's this lighthouse. Then there was a table, and this 70-year-old lady at this table with her hand-knit sweaters. I don't know where, or somebody must have dropped her off and left her there or something like that.
Proper old country right there.
Oh, yeah, man. But it was awesome. I bought one of her sweaters. I had to.
Even if it wasn't cool.
Yeah, exactly. But that southern tip of Portugal, I love it. I wrote an album called The Bong Sessions. Most of the songs are written on the beach there.
I love that.
Yeah, man. Ooh, what do we got here?
We got some Jameson with the fancy
Ooh.
stuff, just because K-Man likes it fancy.
Yeah, I'm a fancy pants guy. That's me, right?
But yeah, basically.
Thank you, Jameson, for getting us
sponsorship anytime soon.
Right.
But yeah, like everything is great, just in different ways. It's like all your favorite people. Like I love you.
Yeah, and I love you.
But I also have other friends that I love the same, but for different reasons. So like between Ireland and Portugal and Italy and Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, France, Netherlands especially. We play a lot. Like Amsterdam's pretty much, like I know Amsterdam almost as much as I know Montreal.
Yeah.
You know, like, because it's a
I'm with you on that, by the way. Like on our last tour, the Netherlands were probably my favorite place.
It's just gorgeous. And then Scandinavia, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, like they're just gorgeous
See,
places.
I haven't been there yet, but I was saying on our next one, I definitely want to go there.
And then there's Switzerland, where it's just like everything's perfect, and you just feel like you're on another planet. Luxembourg, same thing.
I don't know about you, like when I go to different cities or countries, I'm always like about the food. Like, if I go down to Kingston, I want to go eat at Granny's. If I go, or not Kingston, sorry, in Hamilton. You know, I'm all about like, you know, even when I go to Toronto, I always go get the same jerk chicken, you know, right by the bovine at Pat's. Shout out Pat's jerk chicken there. It's really good stuff. It's spicy as fuck. You know, but when you go to Europe, are you like already thinking like, you know, you're in their airplane and it's like, man, I can't wait till we get there because I'm going to eat that.
Absolutely. One thing, back to Italy then, is, cause we, like, you know, when you're playing a festival, it's not if you're playing a festival, it says it's not Rome, because it can't be, because there's no fields downtown Rome.
Right.
So you're 30 kilometers outside of the city. So a lot of places, I don't remember the names of the towns, because that was just on the GPS to get us to the field to play the thing.
But, so for you, it's still Rome.
So we're hit, but like say you're in Italy, Spain, or any of them, you're just at mom and pop hotels. And so in the morning, you just wake up and all you see fields, and there's probably chickens and like whatever, and then you just go and Mamma Mia's get to the thing, and then you get to go and just sit, and you have your espresso or whatever, and it's just like home, like, so you get a lot of that, because we play a lot of, especially in Germany too, you play a lot of things in the country.
Because the festivals.
And then they put you up in these really crazy boutique places in the middle of nowhere, either in the middle of mountains or in a field or by a river, like, and just always gorgeous, and you know the building's like 300 years old, and then you just kind of walk down, and they're just like, hey, you know, and then I look over, and like there's Napalm Death kind of having breakfast over there, like these old metalheads with long, and they're, you know, like, or like, I need bacon and eggs, you know, or like you know, sick of it all's right there, like, hey, what's up, boys, you know, like, just that kind of thing. It's really, really nice that way. So you, it shrinks the world for you as a person, for me as a person, but it just, like, after a couple months, like, it is kind of rough to be away from home and family and all that kind of stuff, but then once you get home, after, like, pretty much it's like, you know, women have that ovarian time clock.
Yeah, I hear about this.
Not having a baby. Not having a baby. Where the fuck is my baby? Well, basically, when I get off tour, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then 2 months, 3 months, which is pretty much the max I ever go without touring. I'm like, where's the next tour?
Absolutely.
Vinny, what's going on?
I was talking to Christina about that today. I was like, our last show was, oh shit.
I'll just have a sip of this. I'm not going to shoot it.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
And yes, you are going to shoot it. Cheers. Yes,
no, it's too big.
It's too big? Alright, we shoot it.
I'll fuck
it. It's Friday, it's not Tuesday. Good morning.
That's fucking delicious.
I know you probably shouldn't shoot.
That's a fucking castmate.
It's a castmate.
I don't know, it's just Jameson, but like $3 more.
Yeah. Right? That's great though.
Alright, I like the peer pressure.
Well, you know, we're all victims.
Okay, so when I punch a cop later, I can blame you?
No, I'm gonna be fucking running trying to find bail money. If we're both got, we're fucked.
There's no cops in the South Shore.
Oh, God, I knock on wood. I never talk like that shit. I get weird with that, like with superstitious stuff sometimes. I really do. You know, like I'm not like, especially with things like involve cops. It's fucked up. You know, we're talking about traveling all these places and talking about cops on a different subject. It freaks me out sometimes, like how lucky we are in Canada, though. You know, like I remember I was in Jamaica, just outside of Blue Moon. And,
that's one thing I was gonna do. What with this interview thing? I wanted to interview you because I don't think you've talked about your Jamaica stuff on your podcast so far.
No, I don't think
because you have some amazing stuff when it comes to that. And
absolutely, yeah.
One day I'm gonna hit you up and show up down there.
We'll trade hats on that.
So yeah, so you go there all the time,
Well, I've been there, but I grew up with a lot of Jamaicans. Yeah.
What? Musician.
Musician, yes, musicians. Where are they? On the stage now.
Hey Timmy D, give big round of applause.
Yeah,
to
man.
Musician. No, but so you go there. There's a family connection.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So tell us about that, because it's awesome.
Okay. My dad, Terry Gillespie, and my mom, who runs the managerial side of things, have great friends there. Andrew and his lady and his two beautiful twin daughters, and they have a piece of land with a private beach and 7 cabins. So my parents rent out the 7 cabins there, and we got a restaurant and friends. What's really cool about that is like the cabin that
everything you just said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly right. But I mean, like our cabin is literally 6 feet from the water, like from the front steps to the water there, and it's also just 20 minutes away from Negril, and that's where a lot of music is happening. Like, do you remember an old band called the Drifters?
Sounds familiar.
Okay, the Rolling Stones used to cover their songs. All right, and
were those guys? I read the life book. Was it Stones?
Well, yeah, Keith.
Yeah. Where he talks about being down there.
Yeah, because he has a
and
place
then hanging out with musicians. Was that them?
I don't know if he did or not.
Let's just say he
might have. Okay, let's say it was. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. I live by these words.
Always. I like that.
But Luddy Sams, the singer of the Drifters, has a club there, and with some of the best Jamaican musicians. My dad plays there regularly as well, and it's cool. I hang out there, and then they're just like, pass you a guitar player will kind of give up his spot, then you can lead the band on songs. So I get to sing some of the songs that I really think it's cool, because like reggae music has influenced my punk rock songs like so much, because I always find reggae and punk to be very similar in content.
I don't think anyone that had a sensibility in their head would ever disagree with that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But
you ever heard of the Clash?
No, man, no, never.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is I find them so open-minded when it comes to music. You would think that not, because like in the ska scene and stuff, you get a lot of people that are like, oh, trad, but a lot of people in Jamaica are like, move forward and like to see where their music has been and how it's influenced people. So I go in there with my songs with the influence of reggae, but bringing it to another place, and they're so open to it, and they like the energy of it. It's kind of a different energy that they're used to. But they get off on it, man, totally. And which brings me back to the Cops, traveling, Canada, and why it's good. Because if you eat breakfast, like I remember there's this little place just on the side of the highway there that I go for breakfast a lot. And Cop comes in, AK-47 on the table while he's eating his food, and that's something we don't see in Canada. But here we are, being touring musicians, going to all these different countries and seeing how, like, in some countries how the law works, or how place certain forests, like you go to England, you're not seeing guns everywhere and stuff like that, even though they do have guns and stuff.
Airports and train stations,
yeah,
but generally speaking, no.
But here in Canada, like if you go eat at a breakfast restaurant, you're never going to see a cop walk in with an AK-47 very casually and just kind of place it beside him and have his breakfast. You're not going to see that in Canada.
No.
But in some of the countries we do go to, we do see that. It's like it's so nice to break out of this bubble that we live in and just see how other people live. And that's one of the things that why I like to hang out with people that travel the world. Like you. Have you ever had problems with the law, like or cops in different countries? Are there places that are difficult?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell this because it's been a long time ago, but I have a quick story if I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless
it'll get you in trouble, you can do it.
No.
And if it'll get you in trouble, we'll probably still do it.
No. I spent a year in Asia.
Okay.
At one point.
Whereabouts in Asia?
Everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah. And at one point, I spent 6 months in China, and then I did all the other places with the backpack a long time ago. And at one point, there's a city called Kunming in the very southeast of China.
Okay.
Kunming is the capital of a province called Yunnan, and Yunnan was the last province to secede to be part of China. It's on the border of Malaysia. Sorry, not Malaysia. Myanmar.
Okay, Myanmar.
So, I was going to say Burma, but Myanmar. So there's a hostel downtown called the Hump of the Himalayas, because basically where China stops at that point. That's where the Himalayan mountains start. Tibet's there.
Okay, right on the
Myanmar, Burma's there, and then if you go south, you go to Thailand, and it's a whole Golden Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So, me being me, because we go to this hostel downtown, and me being me, I want to know who runs it.
Mm-hmm.
So I meet this guy named Mo, and Mo is a Burmese guy, but he owns the hostel downtown in Kunming. So he's like, yeah, we're good. So we started doing pills together.
So, as people should.
Yeah. And after a couple of days, we become buddies. He's like, oh, I got this other hostel in the middle of the jungle. So I'm like, cool, let's go. So we go to it, and I'm trying to make this story short. So
no, this is good, man. I'm all in it.
And so it's in the jungle, right? Like if you look on a map, like really smack, like right on this big river where Burma is.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, okay, so you want to go to Burma tonight? I'm like, okay.
Let's go.
He goes, I have to do some donations for these kids. I'm like, okay, fine. So we go, jump in a boat. It's already after dark. He has these crates in the boat.
Oh, God.
And it's him and this dude I've never met. And he goes, okay, so we're going to go. And apparently...
So we're talking donations here.
Yeah. So I wish I could Google this up, but like there's China, and then there's this river, which I don't remember the name of. And then there's an island, which is no man's land, which is a half an hour different, like Newfoundland, a half an hour different. And then there's Burma, Myanmar, whatever, there. So we go, and we're halfway through the river. He goes, listen, if you see any boats coming this way with big lights, jump out of the fucking boat and swim back to China. And it's not that big. It would be like from Montreal to Longueuil, right? But,
yeah, but
it's still a half a kilometer. It's still like cool. Let's do it. So we get
and there's probably some wildlife in there that wants to eat you too.
And I promise you, I'm not making this shit up. So we start going. I'm like, cool. So we get there. Everything's cool. And so we go to these weird cafes that are like all just like concrete cubes with like fluorescent lights, like real third world stuff, like not insulting the third world, but just like,
there's a style.
Yeah,
there's a style for sure.
So first thing we started doing is coating, liquid coating. So like small glasses, like take this glass and chop it off. So like like a small tumbler glass. So they would pour these little, you know, those brown medicine bottles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of coating,
liquid coating. Pour it in, top it off with a little bit of beer.
Codeine and beer?
Yeah.
I never tried that.
Basically, you just go like this.
What are you doing tomorrow?
You just go like this. And then we went to this massage place. Actually, no happy ending. Just legit. So we had like...
Codeine, beer drinks on the way to the Asian massage place. All right, here we go.
And they did the thing where like they were on their backs with their feet and their hands up, and you just floated on top of them. Because you're so fucked up on codeine.
Wait, they're on their back, hands and feet up, you're on them.
Yeah, so 3 girls per guy.
Naturally.
So they're all on their back, and you just kind of lay back, and then their feet and hands massage you while you let the codeine sink into your, system. And you do that for a little while. Anyway, so then we go to his buddy's place, which I thought was a whole thing. I get to this guy's, and you're talking about guns. Just AKs and like whatever. But it was AKs. We're in Asia, right? So of course it's AKs.
Yeah.
Just across the wall, like in a concrete sort of cutout apartment. I'm like, all right, this is cool. And then we tried this thing that I did once in my life, and I've watched enough Joe Rogan to not be ashamed about talking about drugs.
All right, cool.
So at the time it was something called yaba.
Yaba.
Yeah.
What is yaba?
It was a methamphetamine on crack.
Methamphetamine on crack?
Yeah. So basically what it was is you do the dragon thing, right? So he made a tinfoil thing,
pipe thing,
whatever you want to call it. No, like a V.
Yeah, okay.
And he took a 7-Up bottle. I remember it was 7-Up for some reason. And then he put a straw in it, water in the bottom, tinfoil and a rag, so you could put the shit on the top, cover that, and that went through the bottle, out the straw.
Right.
Smoked that. He smoked that. Then he puts whatever was
left. Was this like opium? No, it's not.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to it. It's taking a while. and then he takes what was left, adds more stuff, and it's all pink for some reason. And then he puts it on this long thing, and then you do the same pipe, and he burns underneath as it trails down the tinfoil as it melts. And as it melts, you smoke the smoke off the top, right?
Yeah.
Called yaba.
Yaba.
So I've done all the drugs you talk about.
Well, see, I'm a big fan of trying things, not getting hooked on things, but trying things for sure. But yaba.
So I hit that hard with them, just as a tourist, like sure, yeah, bring it on. Like I know how to drink. I know how to, like I was like 26 years old, thinking I was
invincible and let's go. Yeah, man.
So I hit that for, I think I did 2 rounds of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually got back in the boat, went back to China, and I was up for 3 days in the jungle, talking to Jesus. But like, you know, you do blow or you do anything where you do a hit and you're like, oh cool, yeah, do a hit, right? And then it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like acid, 8 hours. Okay, just put your kids to bed.
Hey, the only editing around here is from the brain to the mouth, right? I love that lesson.
So this was so intense that it lasted 3 days on the first.
Oh my God!
So I didn't touch it again.
Yeah.
I was just done, but not in a bad way. Like really, just like in the jungle in China. Like, I'm in China. Is that bamboo? That's the best bamboo.
Were you like paranoid and shit though? Or?
No, I was just good.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was with
the codeine with it.
Well, the codeine wore off,
right?
But I also found out that this guy that I was with. This is a long story short. Long story long. His father was the Burmese ambassador to China. So at the embassy in China, in Kunming, that's where they held all the drugs because the Chinese government could never get into the Burmese.
So he had access to
embassy.
The good shit.
Yeah, because that's where they hid all the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't go into an embassy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they just smuggled all the drugs from Burma into China and kept it at the embassy.
Damn. Don't come after Kim, man. You don't know shit, man.
That's what you do.
That's wild, eh? So you're touring, making a new album with the Mahones and stuff like this, but like I also know that you're still playing punk rock, singing guitar, playing guitar and singing in the Irish Nails as well. What's up with the Irish Nails?
Just always there.
Mm-hmm.
Just no time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying in a bad way. Just like even the boys are like, "What's up?" I'm like, "I'd love to," but we just just can't do it.
It's hard to do
because
it all.
for me, like I got home life, I got Mahones life, and then whatever I can do extra. Like I like to I keep my shit busy because I know life is short, and I want to make sure that every month has something that's happened that matters. But sometimes you just can't. So right now the Irish Nails are just a bit on the side.
Yeah, I hear it.
But I'm still in the middle of a solo album.
Okay, you're doing a solo album as well?
Yeah.
What's up with the solo album? What's that about?
Well, it's just me doing everything.
Okay. So it's not like just acoustic guitar. There's multiple instruments on this?
Yeah, me and Seb Black.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Seb.
Yeah, Seb. I love Seb Black.
Well, he's going to be playing with it for Foufs.
What's going on at Foufs?
January 31st is our kickoff show.
For the tour coming up?
Yeah, so Mahones, Nils, Painbow, and Seb Black. Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Big show.
I'm going to be there.
No, my guess is already, bro.
I knew that.
But I'm still recording and doing other things that I can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
I can talk about it, but like I haven't released.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you some stuff after though.
Absolutely.
It's actually really good stuff.
Yeah,
but
I can't wait to hear it.
It's kind of like I've always wanted to do like a Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen idea.
Okay.
Where it's powerful and heavy and punk, with no electric instruments.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I got that.
So there's piano, which Seb takes care of. So I did all the bass. Guillaume from who used to play with the Mahones and also is the brains.
With the brains, yeah.
My boy. Shout out to Guillaume.
and the whole crew, yeah, man.
Yeah. So he did the drums and but I'm not finished yet. I'm hoping to get Lorraine Muller in there for she doesn't know yet. But
shh, I won't tell her.
For some stuff. But just putting together like a complete side thing.
Okay.
So I'm always
doing something.
Yeah.
It's because you got one of these busy, active minds, man.
Because life's too short, man.
Well, that's it. Do you find, I don't know about you, but I find my rate of, like, production is just increasing all the time. Like, yeah, I'm not saying just making...
Well, you're probably getting
like,
better at it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because you know allocate your time. You know your anxiety is at a certain level. Like you can figure out how, look, this is what I have to do. This is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's well said. It really is. But I also think it's like a, I don't know. It's like lately. It's like I've been, for the last 2 years, I'd say, really on a push, just doing all kinds of things. Whether it's even like taking time to just play guitar at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know how you're talking about you're at the start when we sat down, you're like, oh, you know, as just, you know, learning some new bass parts and stuff. Lately, I was smoking mad spliffs all night, but then I just put on this Google thing of random songs and where it would just have the lyrics and the chord progressions, and songs I would know or not even really know. I just like sight read them and sing them all. And I was doing like weird things. I was doing like, you know, Dolly Parton songs. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was great.
That's fucking great.
Yes, it's fun. Hey, want to try a magic trick?
A magic trick?
Yeah, let's try a magic trick.
You got
I know that our ladies are upstairs.
Yeah.
And I know there's a bottle of champagne upstairs.
Yes, there is.
If we yell really loud, do you think the champagne would show up down here?
Well, I can text them.
You could text them. They're upstairs.
You,
Hey, ladies! Is there any champagne in the house? I don't know if that worked or not. We'll see in a bit. It's funny, man. But yeah, like I really like the Irish Nels too. It's radically different. I remember when you talked about the idea to me, and then when I heard some of the music, it's not what I thought it would sound like. It was better.
well, right now, because like I thought it was like I wanted to be a hardcore punk band, and we did a great album. Renee did it for us, and.
René de la Morte, the singer of the Brains.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not the name drop, but Renee's pretty cool. And then one of the highlights of my fucking punk rock career so far, and I know it sounds really sappy, but my buddy Uncle Costa from Vulgar Deli did a duet on that with
Costa, my man.
us. Yeah, and Vulgar Deli is one of my favorite fucking bands ever. Like
hardcore
like
as shit.
Ramones, Pogues, Social Distortion, Vulgar Deli, like they're up there.
I heard his acoustic version of
I believe in Satan.
Yeah, I believe in Satan. Man,
no,
it's not. It wasn't that.
No, it's the Venom version.
Yeah, Venom.
I'm in league with Satan.
In league with Satan. Yeah, that's right. It was so good, man.
So I actually played a show with Venom.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, in Germany once.
Wow.
With Guar as well, but that's another story. But so Costa, his version that you spoke about, he actually got an email from not Odorous, because Odorous from Guar, the singer of Venom, actually sent him a personal email to say thank you because he dug it.
Dug the version of it. That's cool.
Venom is like to Costa what, like, you know, Joe Strummer would be to
yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it, and I see
so
the
rhythm. Yeah, so imagine you covering, like, you know, Guns N' Bricks and then Joe sending you an email.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing.
That's crazy. So Sean, listen, what you got going on? Tell the people what's going on. We're gonna cut this up, and then we're gonna go drink a whole bunch of more shots. But I know you got a bunch of shit going on here. What's going on with you?
Well, what I'm gonna do is request some champagne.
All right. I like this. We're literally calling drinks to the show. This is great.
Call me nerd. I don't care.
Yeah, hey, we should do more of this today. It's Friday, by the way, and this is the first drink I've had of January, I believe. Or maybe it's the second drinks of January. Soon to be the 10th drink of January in one night.
But besides that, yeah.
Hello?
We need champagne downstairs.
Oh, champagne time.
Oh, yeah, champagne. Yay.
All right.
You brought the good stuff, I heard.
We're coming.
All right, cool.
So what's
Technology rules.
Yeah. So we're kicking off our big 30th anniversary tour.
30th anniversary of the Mahones.
30th, yeah.
Wow.
30 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's starting. We're doing a benefit show next week in Kingston.
What's the benefit?
It's for Finney's deceased mom's charity.
Okay.
So we're doing a small show at the Toucan.
Nice. Yes, I'm very aware. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're doing that on Tuesday, but then the big rock stuff starts at Foufs.
Yeah.
So we do Foufs, and then Shawinigan at the Diablo. It's called Diablo?
Diable, I think it's called.
Yeah. So we're doing 2 shows, and then we fly out, and then we fly out for 2 months. Then we do a month in Australia, then we come back, and we're back on the West Coast in May. We're already booked in Vancouver.
Be careful in Australia. Everything there wants to kill you. Yeah, all those animals that got sharp, pointy teeth.
So we're just going to do all that, but we want to see Montreal at the Foufs.
Hey, we got ladies and... What are you guys doing here? Yay!
They brought glasses and everything.
So the rumor was right. There was a good bottle of something up there.
Yeah.
Come on over here, guys.
I don't know what it is other than it looks pretty and it's supposed to be fancy.
Pretty and fancy. And anytime like drinks come in a box, it's usually a good sign.
Well, Karen, thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm really happy.
We're going to tail this off.
I haven't seen you guys in a while, and I definitely wanted to see you before you leave. And come here, baby. There's room here. We're just, you know, this. That's what I love about this show is there's literally no rules. You know, we just hang out with the animals.
It's in my way. I don't like it.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, we're gonna pop this. Sweet.
Just don't break.
So what is it? What's it called? What are we gonna drink?
I don't know, but apparently it's...
Veuve Clicquot Brut. Ooh.
Is that good? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Last time I drank a bottle of wine, it was just out of a bottle walking down the street.
Yeah, I know.
You have the paper bag too.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I picked it up at the local dep because in Montreal you can get like, you know, alcohol just at when I say dep, for people that aren't from Montreal, it means like, you know, just a local corner store, like a 7-Eleven, but they sell, you know, everything you need.
I remember learning about the dep. It was a new experience for me.
Oh, because liquor stores, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's like what I love. We have a dep not far from here. We call all the time. Like actually, they brought us beer here. They deliver everything here.
That's what he does.
Well, in the summer, you know, when you guys are here and we're in the back there by the pool and everybody's hanging out, they come here multiple times in a day. Right?
Like, hi,
all right, Sean, you got to pop this
back
bitch.
door.
Oh, well. So what's up with the 45s though? Anything new?
With the 45s? Oh yeah, man, all kinds of stuff. We're about to go. We're going to be playing the States a lot. We're doing a mini tour with a band called the Abrupters from the U.S., great ska band. We're doing another tour with another great band called Catbite, and then then we're going to be doing some shows with Mustard Plug. And
Mustard Plug.
Yeah, man, they're still kicking ass. We did some shows with them at the start of last year, and man, they're sounding great.
You know how good they sound?
Huh?
They sound this good.
Woo! Yay, happy Friday!
To Mustard Plug.
To Mustard Plug. Yeah, to Mustard Plug. And all our friends. And Django, he has to be part of the party here. He's always... I'm surprised... What's that?
I'm just saying, out of, you know, since the 90s in Vital, many years, thank you for having me.
Man,
and by the way, you're kicking ass at this podcast.
Well, thank you very much.
Really great.
It's been a hell of a journey, and it's only starting. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everybody.
Happy Friday. Cheers to you all. We love you. K-Man don't know shit, but he learned a bit from Sean Ryan tonight.
Cheers.
That's a wrap.
That's some good stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, K-Man don't know shit.